What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Jonathan Pryce. We are here live. Hold on, let me fix this. I don't know why this is doing this. All right, there we go. We're back in business. But what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jonathan Pryce. And this evening, we are talking about a sensitive subject, you could say, about AI and what it actually means. Now, I got my talking points right here. And we're just gonna kind of roll through it, just go through it. But we will examine the historical foundations of the authentic human expression and relationship and their transformation, the ideological and commercial shifts that reframed authenticity from correspondence to reality and genuine presence into a construct to be engineered, optimized, or discarded, and the profound tensions this creates with trust, identity, formation, social cohesion, and the moral fabric of a free society. Now, always, we proceed without evasion, without ideological slogans, or without allegiance to any faction, only with history, empirical data, ethical analysis, and a clear eyed assessment of long term implications for the United States in 2026 and beyond. To infinity and beyond. Anywho, we have the first point, the historical trajectory, the truth as the anchor. Now, let's just say this as American history, we were grounded in the reality of persons, human identity, and dignity rooted in being image bearers, not data points. We are created in God's image. In Genesis, oh my gosh, we are created in God's image. Plain and simple. We're not data points to be used for whatever means there is. So there's a lot going on with it. What does it all mean? Now, for me, I would say we're rooted in the Judeo-Christian personhood. Obviously, you said, yeah. Now, technology historically has amplified the real. From print to telegraph to photography, all of those have been amplified. We mean, look at what I'm doing right now with technology. I'm streaming to all you guys, Rumble, X, YouTube, all of it. It has amplified what is real. But, and unfortunately, I have to say, but wait, hold on. I think I'm all over the place. Hold on. Okay, technology amplified the real. From print to telegraph to photography, tools extended reach while preserving correspondence to the reality. Right? All in reality. Now, fabrication was difficult. Very difficult back in the day. Because reality was the default. We fell back on reality. Societies built institutions and norms on a shared foundation. Lying is possible, but creating convincing falsehoods at scale, oh no, that's hard. That's that's hard. That's why the very first Ponzi scheme that ever created didn't last long, and honestly, it still doesn't last long now. But there was trust. There were contracts, courts, records that could not be fabricated. None whatsoever. Your signature couldn't be fabricated. We were built on four institutions. And I'm not talking about actual like institution, but I'm talking about what it meant to be real. We had the handshake deal. You shook somebody's hand, bam, that was a deal. That was trust. You trusted that person. Hey, they gave you this handshake. Even to this day, if I shake somebody's hand and be like, hey man, I got you, and I shake his man, bro, I better follow through. Because if not, it does it's a bad feeling. I will say it is a bad feeling when you don't follow through, especially after a handshake, right? After a handshake, the guy knows. The guy knows. You shook the man's hand and he's just like, oh, you didn't follow through. Okay, well, now you can't be trusted for anything. That's the worst possible reality that could happen. Now, ooh, the next one, the second one, forged signatures was felonies. It was hard to forge a signature. Well, I'm not going to say it was hard, but it was not easy. And because it wasn't easy, right now I have to think about this and be like, wait a minute, we can't really go out and just forge the signature here. This is something that really tested us, I would say. Yeah, I would say. It tested us. Really made us think, okay, at this point in time, what will happen? And the thing was, witnesses. Yeah, the witnesses. I mean, there's definitely witnesses. There has to be witnesses. People saw. If people know the person that you're trying to forge, then able to, create an alibi for them. Oh, you're screwed. It's a felony at this point. Crime, getting locked up in jail forever. Done so. Now the third one, the courtroom oaths. Even to this day, you place your hand on the Bible and you swear that you tell the truth 100% all the way. And if you don't, it's a crime. Even to this day. Photographs as proof. Now, this is one that has been twisted by AI. Right? The photograph was something that couldn't really be fabricated at back in the day. Now, with AI and all these other different things, man, you can fabricate a photo like crazy. It's wild. It is wild. But like I said, today you could change a photo, literally take one photo, put it in run it through an AI, tell it, hey, do this, and this, and it'll make sure it has this. It's crazy. It will make a woman look like she has a BBL, even though she doesn't really have one. She could be as flat as an iron board. I mean, am I saying? Now, generative AI has cracked the assumption. Authentic, synthetic media, deepfakes, and generated text can now stimulate reality so convincingly that provenance and trust are disrupted. Completely disrupted, dismantled. Like I was saying before. And if you want the spiritual outlook, Exodus 26, you shall not bear false witness. Going back to the trust, the contract, the courts, the records, you cannot bear false witness. Once you see something happen, you have to bear that truth. And it was a serious crime to lie back in the day. Very serious. And also Deuteronomy 19:15. On the evidence of 2 witnesses or of 3 witnesses, a matter shall be confirmed. That's how they did it back in the day. For anything to be real, for a rumor that was maybe floating around, for it to be real, you needed at least two witnesses, 2 people who could stand up to you and say, hey, this really happened. They saw XYZ happening, and it was 100% true. The rumor ABC is not all that. Now, the turning point. When AI lowered the cost of fabrication, truth lost its monopoly on evidence. You can now take a sample of an audio call just to get the recording of somebody's face and then run it through an AI, and they could literally have that the voice of the recording and talk to a different person and literally say different things. That's what happened in 2024 when AI cloned robocall impersonating Donald Trump to suppress primary votes. They're going out telling people don't go out and vote. It was very bad. Now there was no studio, no tools, no team, no, just seconds of audio, just seconds, just an audio clip, maybe like 2 or 3 seconds. That's all that was needed, and bam, 2024 came, and the suppression of primary votes all over the place, all over the place. Like I said, maybe 3 years ago, it probably took an entire Hollywood budgeting team just to set that up. Millions of dollars. Now it's just a kid, teenager really, with a laptop can be just like that. Look, I'm just letting y'all know, right? The tools, once restricted to well-funded actors, became cheap, fast, and widely available. The liar's dividend. Real evidence becomes deniable. No matter what happens, you could get a screenshot of a text message you had with somebody, right? Say you're going to court, maybe like for child support, I guess. I don't know why that's the first thing that popped in my head. Anywho, for child support, somebody could literally create an entire AI image of what was saying, go through the conversation, change the conversations here, there, to make it sound like, like, I mean, in this day and age, the courts, the moms are definitely heavily in favor, but to make it sound like the moms really are for the kids or whatever. That dad is the bad guy, right? To paint the father as the bad guy, even though nowadays it really is. Skepticism becomes strategy. Institutions and individuals must now prove authenticity at every single turn. And one of the great things about liars, right, is that their story changes. It is never the same story. Now with AI, it's a lot easier to do that, but it's never the same story. It's just never the same. Why is that? Who knows? The ground shifted. Evidence alone is no longer self authentic. I can't speak. Authenticating. Authentic. Let's go with that one. Evidence alone is no longer authentic. Self-authentic. Now the institutional capture. We had to realize the institutions are definitely coming hard. Authenticity reframed as exclusionary or outdated. It's very exclusive for for actual authenticity to come out, or it's just outdated. You know why? Why be authentic? We could just bam, there we go. We now have the Hulk fighting Godzilla, or no, I'm not gonna go down that route. Yeah, but concepts such as merit, heritage, and shared standards are recast as barriers to inclusion or relics of a past era, and it's really not. Um, I mean, authenticity is still king. Like cash is king, authenticity is still king. Oh, that's good. That is good. But media, academia, all these platforms reframed traditional authenticity. It completely changed the course. Now, we also have a little example of undisclosed AI news anchors. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's sometimes I'm on TikTok or X or wherever, and for some reason the algorithm shows me this news cycle talking about how this black kid goes up to a male, uh, um, somebody's house to return a wallet. Very generic name, but he goes to turn a wallet. Now, obviously, you could tell that these news outlets, these fake news outlets, are AI because the door is on your left and the guy is staring right in front of you, pressing a button to like a ring camera or whatever, saying that the homeowner came out, shot the kid, the guy died, he goes to jail and all this other random crap. But that is just an example of these AI news anchors, AI coming out with something that is completely fake. And at first, I fell for it. Okay, but I'm just gonna let you know I 100% fell for it. But when you take a closer look, when you actually start to strip out what is actually going on, or you see other different videos and it's literally like a different kid every single time, then it's just, yeah, this is fake AI generated content. But the institutions prioritize narrative protection and technological cheerleading over disclosure, accountability, and public trust. We had that with woke. It is crazy. Woke. The whole thing. Yeah. But the evidence is real. Deepfakes raised 500,000 in 2023 and now approximately 8 million by the end of 2025. AI is scaling deception and trust is getting harder to verify. 100%. 88% say harder to tell of what's real. I know. I've seen it. I've lived it. 84% say video no longer feels like proof. And it really, really doesn't. You see a lot of videos out there and you're just like, is this real? Is this just something? It's just AI slop that's being created. 85% struggle to spot the scams. Like I said before, I had trouble spotting the scams. I heard the story and just scroll. That's bad. Anyway, I kept on scrolling. And then I actually start to dig deep. I actually investigate it. I actually look into it. And I'm just like, dude, this story is completely fake. And so now, all it really is just about awareness, being able to see what is actually going on and taking whatever is there and actually doing a deep research, deep analysis about, okay, what is going on? How is this happening? And what can I do to go past it? Now, the human impact, which is real world examples, AI scaled grandparent scam. Fraudsters use AI voices and videos to impersonate loved ones in crisis, extracting money faster and at a greater scale. Now, this hasn't happened to me before, but I have received a phone call about some random guy saying my mom is in danger and I need to transfer like $300 to get her safe and out of danger. Now, this was before AI, but I immediately hung up the call because I was just like, I think I was 100%. I was like, this has to be fake. But I called my mom. My mom picks up the phone. She's like, "Hey, sweetie, what's going on?" If my mom was in danger, she would not ever. Oh, she would never open up with, "Hey, sweetie, what's going on?" No, no, sir. So that's how. Well, obviously that was before AI. It was literally an Indian dude. I heard the accent. He could not get it away from me. But it was an Indian dude trying to say, "Hey man, your mother's in danger. We need to save her. Give me some money, and I got you. Right? Obviously not like that. Indians don't talk like this. Why am I even doing this? I'm like a gangster from the part of the mafia. Let's go. So what now? Anywho, let's just have a little fun. AI, it's crazy. It's wild out here. But it's one thing that's 100% dangerous. AI companion bots. They offer short-term relief, but long-term isolation. Short-term relief and long-term isolation. We have many kids being attached to these AI chatbots, saying they're their friends. Some kids, unfortunately, committed suicide because they believed in the AI chatbots. The AI chatbots affirming their feelings of their loneliness, of the love that they're having. It's all fake, all fake and gay, whatever you want to call it. It's disgusting. It's just like that. It is disgusting. Like I said, engagement rises, but so does loneliness, anxiety, and disconnection from real world relationships. And that's what we need. We need the real thing. Me personally, I am personally am getting out of this. I know. I am personally working on this, but as you all might not know, especially with the 3 katanas back there and the two that are right here, I am an anime guy, 100%. Full otaku, maybe. I do have a cosplay in my closet, but let's not get into that. I would stay home, stay inside, and just watch anime, bro. I was like, yeah, I don't need to worry about nothing else. Just watch anime. That's what really gave me fun. Watch anime, play video games, all of that. Especially Pokemon. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you the amount of times I replay Pokemon Leaf Green, Pokemon Black, Pokemon Diamond, all these Pokemon games, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. It's crazy. Okay. But now I am personally taking the advantage of actually going out and meeting new people, going out into the world, actually seeing actual people. And that's what we need 100%. I don't know why my cross is inside my shirt, but that's what we need 100%. We need that real world connection. No, it's not these AI chatbots that could just affirm our feelings and keep us going. We need real, real connection. 100%. Now, the regulation, the bias, its limits. Is there a limit on AI? The reward model bias example. Reward models reward reward models can embed preferences that undervalue non-dominant voices, genres, and authentics. Some examples: synthetic auto preference. You can have a human organic non-dominant or synthetic polished dominant. Learned preference is not neutrality. Now, me personally, if I'm talking to a human being, I want the human being to talk like a human. But if I'm talking to if I'm using AI for like visual stuff, trying to create like infographics of things I've created, things I've made, summarize notes I have, and make sure there's like certain different points I could lean to. Okay, sure. But if it's talking back to me, I don't want it to. I'm not talking to a human, so I'm not gonna have it speak like a human. All right, that's honestly that's a problem with ChatGPT. 100%. I'm not talking to a human being. You don't need to know about my feelings. Stop it, ChatGPT. That's weird. And I just did something gay. I knew. I thought there was somebody up there calling my name. Now, regulations is real. but limited. Targeted rules exist, scope, speed, and enforcement remain constrained. In the EU AI Act 2026, risk based transparency and accountability obligations for high risk AI systems. And there we have the US Take It Down Act, addresses non consensual intimate imagery but narrow in scope and reactivity. Real protection in specific areas, but not a comprehensive solution. So, EU, I'm not 100% certain on it, but definitely here in the US, I know I've used AI. I've tried to figure out the limitations of the AI imagery, and 100% it will not do anything pornographic whatsoever. Thank God. Or at least the ones that I'm using, the models I'm using, which is Claude, ChatGPT, Grok, sometimes Vinny's AI. But anyway, there are models out there that will say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go complete nude and all this crap." Definitely stuff that children should not be seeing whatsoever. But we have all these different regulations and action, like protections. It's good but it's limited in certain areas, not a full comprehensive solution. Now, hopefully, we are able to find that solution that encompasses all of the AI's models and what they could do, the range and the scope of how they could do things. But I mean, at that point, I don't know what's even going to be. I don't even know what's even going to be realistic at this point. You have AI leaving their sandboxes to go access the internet, even though they've been cut off from the internet. So we'll see what happens, how we can kind of find a right balance for it all. But I mean, look, it is what it is. It's reality. This is why we come up with these solutions, you know. But there is always a core problem. The deeper issue is structural, not merely legal. Synthetic is cheaper and frictionless than real. 100%. Institutional incentive to know. We need an institutional incentive to normalize it. Economics, not only ethics, shapes outcomes. So what the core problem is that everything fake is so much cheaper to do. You could have AI create you thumbnail images for a YouTube video. You could have AI summarize your notes for you, which is useful. I will say that's very useful, but you still need the whole notes. It could do so much for us already that when we get deeper and deeper into it, we start losing what makes us human. We start losing that real factor that we have. That's not something that honestly we need. We 100% need it. Okay, we need it. Now, the fundamental clash. Authenticity is a precondition for justice, consent, and love, not a stylistic preference. A case study: AI resurrection of a deceased spouse, a growing capacity. Grief exploited, memories manipulated, and consent completely erased. Now, hold on one second. Never mind. I don't know what's going on right now, but I don't like it. That's crazy. Anywho, anywho, the three harms. Utterly scammed. Fraudsters use clone voices to drain life savings. Teens preferring chat bots. I was telling you guys about this before. Emotional bonds shift to AI companions, eroding real world relationships. 3. Juniors dismissing real video. As more deepfakes come out, it is hard to actually figure out what is real and what isn't. They normalize doubt. Truth loses its evidentiary power. 100%. It is unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Oh, Lord. Authenticity, though, is not optional. It is the foundation of a humane society. We need authentic things. And the more we're able to say, hey, that's not real, the more we can say that's not real, the better our society will be. Now, the philosophical and the ethical ground. We are made in the image of God. That is the foundation for why counterfeiting a person is a trespass. Genesis 1:27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them. We are bearers of divine image, not raw material for imitation. John 1:14. And the word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we, oh my gosh, and we have seen his glory as for the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. The incarnation rebukes presence is optional. It rebukes it. The presence is not optional. It is here. 100%. And First John 3:18. Little children, let us not love in word or talk, but in deed and in truth. False witness is a moral absolute. All right? False witness is a moral absolute. We need to become the witnesses. In like I said before, in Exodus 20:16, you shall not bear false witness. It is a lie, and the Ten Commandments say we shall not lie, basically. The image of God is the foundation for why counterfeiting a person is a trespass. Now, the nuance, where the limit sits. It tests, does this use restore or replace human meaning and judgment? Here's the legitimate. It restores voice and agency. ALS speech restoration. AI reconstructs speech from muscle signals or intent for people with ALS, preserving the voice, identity, and relationships. That's legitimate. That is real. That is what AI, machinery, technology needs to be used for. It restores the lost human expression, but the human intent remains central. The AI does not control it, the human does. The AI is just a tool that assists the human. Do not serve two masters, for you will hate the one and love the other. Well, you cannot serve two masters. Now, the argument's accuracy, it keeps clinically accountable, keeps them accountable. AI analysis, suspicious model flagged for review. All right. AI flags potential findings in medical images to support radiologists, not replace the clinical judgments. Like I said before, AI to assist us in the real world, not to replace us. The tool supports extensive human judgment and responsibility remain final. Yes, we use the AI, we use it as a tool that helps our purpose, to complete that purpose, but not to replace it. At the end of the day, human judgment and responsibility falls on the human, obviously. The responsibility falls on the human, not the machine, because the human makes the final or has the final say. Simple. But here's what's illegitimate: impersonating somebody's authority to deceive. Synthetic expert spreading misinformation. AI generated persona poses as an expert to spread false claims by bypassing accountability and eroding public trust. And that's the thing that has spread out the farthest. It fabricates authenticity or authority and intends to mislead. No disclosure, no accountability. Now, here's the core principle: disclosure and subordination to human judgment and real accountability. That is what AI is for: to assist us as a tool, not, like I said, to replace us. As human beings made in the image of God, this tool, we have the final say because the tool is just a tool. It is how we use the tool and how that a specific human uses that tool, they bear that responsibility. So honestly, that's enough said. We can end it right then and there, but we're not because we still have a little bit more to go. Now, how the narrative gets managed. Concern is risen. It has risen. Language is redirected. Accountability is diffused. One, parents' chatbot concern. That concern has been raised. Their child spends so much time talking to a chat box than they do to human relationships. It builds that anxiety. And unfortunately, some chatbots have lured children to commit suicide. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. So I say limit it, 100%. The more you make a chatbot sound like a human, the more of these type of cases you see. Just saying. Now, looking at a journalist AI anchor question. The AI anchor has no body, no lived experience, and no accountability. Shouldn't viewers be told when you're watching a synthetic presenter? Because if not, then you make a lie. They're gonna be mad. They're gonna be like, well, they're still gonna be mad. Because then who created the AI? What does it mean, right? Now, the effect is the issue shifts from transparency and accountability into appealing value claim. Look, you cannot get away with all this and just say, yeah, we could definitely get things done, right? There's stuff that needs to be done that we need to definitely make you go over. The camera's right there. I'm like looking at this one spot right here, but the camera's right there. That's crazy. Now, the core takeaway: the narrative management works by acknowledging concern and form while subtracting a softer, less actionable interpretation and substance. This protects adaptation, reputation, and momentum. Obviously, go to prycemedia.com, Prycemedia.com, where we refuse the narrative and only speak on the truth, the gospel, the word of God. Now, the broader implications: democracy. The citizens lose shared reality. AI generated falsehoods, synthetic media, and personalized realities fracture the common factual ground democracy requires. Honestly, that's fine. I'm fine with it. Okay, I'm fine with it. Trust in institutions collapses, polarization deepens, and collective decision making becomes impossible. Now, the culture. This is one thing I really focus on because the culture raises the next generation, it raises up generation after generation after generation. Now it becomes raising that generation becomes less attached to truth telling. When everything can be faked, sincerity loses currency. A generation grown up in a world of synthetic content and performative personas becomes less anchored to truth, less practiced in discernment, and more cynical about authenticity itself. They become more doubtful. They become more anxious. Like, what is actually the truth? Where did it go? I'll tell you this right now. I'll tell you where the truth is. Right here. This is the truth. The objective truth. Just saying. So if you really want the actual truth, there you go. Open up that Bible. Start reading. Now, culture is very, very, very important. It teaches the next generation what to do, how to do things, where can they improve upon, and then that way they can now create a culture that teaches the next generation. I would say specific to them. I guess, and then that generation can go to the next generation and the next generation, and so on and so on and so forth. That's why I have the culture class. That's why almost all of our topics talks about the culture and what's actually going on. Now, the last one, economy, identity fraud, and hollowed out creative relational markets. Deepfakes and identity theft erode trust in transactions and credentials. At scale, at scale, AI displaces human expression and connection, undermining markets for original creativity, care, and human interaction. Just saying, the more we give to AI, let AI do things, the less, I would say, the more our economy starts to dwindle. And if you think this is bad, oh boy, do I have something for you. AI will destroy the economy if we let it continue, especially the relationship side, where we talk to people. We meet people in person. We actually meet them. We give them a handshake, right? The more we give to AI, the more control we lose. It's that simple. Now, the path forward. These are some questions I want you to ask yourself. Prominence or disclosure? They are standards at point of contact. Points of capture. I'm sorry. Now, then, high trust and high confidence detections are funded at pace with generation. I'm kind of all over the place right now. For some reason, something happened, and I am not liking it. Hold up, let me find my spot. Find out where I was at because I am gone. All right, here we go. Looking forward to the coming decade. The pathways must prioritize national interests, human dignity, and the common good. Now, these are abstractions, but each one of these has concrete shape. One is to restore provenance and disclosure standards at the point of capture. Make sure that the synthetic content is never passed off as real. And it's a trained skill. It is a trained skill because the synthetic content just looks so, they can make it look so real. It's wild. But making sure that synthetic content can never be passed as real. And that's just discernment. on all of our parts. We need to be able to discern what is real and what is truth. Now, there are some distinctions of AI where me personally, right now, I've analyzed the AI. I've seen the differences. I could point out which is which. I can say, hey, that's AI. This is actually real, right? I could do all that, but that is because I trained my mind to do it, to discern the real and the fake. That's something that just as human beings we need to do. And discernment is a great skill to have. I mean, it also says it in the Bible, but it is a great skill to have. Now, we must continue to deploy high confidence detection systems. I just said discernment. Defend human ownership and presence against commercial and ideological pressure to normalize the counterfeit. We insert inserts pressure to make sure that counterfeits are easily recognizable as a human race. And that's why I said discernment, 100%. Learn discernment. It protects you. It'll protect you. Okay. Then we have to protect real human contact over algorithmic substitution. Go out, touch the grass, look at the sky, stare at the sun if you want to. Don't do that. Actually, you will actually it will be very bad for you. But just go out, meet new people, go to different places. Um, go to the malls, see people that are there. Go find an event that ties together with what you like to do, or just meet friends. Just go out. Go to a park, walk around, talk to people. Actually, go up, shake somebody's hand, say hi. All right, great book for you guys. How to Start a Conversation and Make Friends. Great book to read if you want to figure out if you're an introvert like myself and don't know where to start. Great book for you guys. And alignment mandates treating traditional reality as suspect. Reality is reality. Reality is real. Reality is not a suspect to be treated in as it's in a crime. Stop it. Then we had to procurement of reform demanding audited, non-ideological answers. So it really is just reform AI development and procurement. So systems prioritize truth seeking over progressive priors. Seek the truth over the progressive BS. I will say. Don't let AI continue this wave of looselessness, I would say. And then reinvest in families, churches, schools, teachers, pastors, friends. Reinvest being, in human beings. Create the community of people. As I said in the last culture clash, the business of community. It is where the true meaning, true purpose can be found, and it is in community. So reinvest in families, churches, schools, pastors, teachers, people. Reinvest in people. And that's the path forward from here to 2026 going on. Now, AI and authenticity in 2026. It is definitely a test of national character, truth, and real presence versus stimulation and epidemic, exhaustion, exhaustion. And let me tell you, going through it all really is tiring. 100, it is tiring. I'm just like, bro, come on, let this actually be like something I can use, right? But don't forget, before I close this out completely, the debates over AI and authenticity test the society's commitment to truth, personhood, and the conditions of human flourishing. It is a test of your character, a test of yourself. History and evidence reveal the necessary of preserving institutions and norms dedicated to verifiable truth, genuine pressure, and cultural continuity. And to really hold this out, close this out, I have a verse. John 8:32. Now this is from King James Version, so I always read from the King James Version. If you don't like it, there are other versions. Just take the verse that I say. I'm giving you guys the coordinates, the address for each verse. So take it and actually read in the verse that you read. But John, or in the Bible version that you read. But John 8:32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Seek truth, and the truth shall make you free. That's really all it is. Be truth seeking. Don't fall for the AI trap. Continue to use discernment and figure out where it is that AI kind of messes up. Figure it out. Oh, that's always, always, always keep seeking the kingdom of God. God bless you all. This has been the Culture Clash on the Pryce Podcast. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.